Good news about the Elizabeth River Tunnel project. It is running on time and on budget. The MLK extension is part of that project. It also includes the rehab of the downtown tunnel and the new tube at the Midtown tunnel. Right now, crews are setting steel girders across I-264 that'll make the ramp from 264 West to the MLK extension. I sat down with Transportation Secretary Aubrey Layne recently, and his reaction to the project at this time is mixed.
The construction is going very well. It's a very significant and technically difficult project to execute, yet we're getting that right, and what I would consider business 101 we're having issues with. That, I believe, again, sours the entire, not only that project, but tolling in general.
Continued work at all three locations means lots of closures and detours. 10 times safer traffic will always keep you updated so you can make your way through traffic with fewer headaches.
This time of the year, you can barely get to your destination without hitting at least one bump in the road. Local and state transportation crews continue to patch them up. 10 on your side, Stephanie Harris sat down with Virginia's transportation secretary recently for a frank discussion about potholes. Stephanie?
And many other things, Nicole. Well, because we got so much snow this winter, we could be in for a lot of potholes this spring. Secretary Aubrey Layne told me that we blew through the snow removal budget for the state this year. That's more than $155 million. But don't worry, he says, there is always money for snow removal and for pothole repairs. No one wants a repeat of this pothole disaster on 264. Remember that Friday in February 2013? 200 drivers filed damage claims with VDOT. I asked Secretary Layne what's been done to make sure nothing like this ever happens again.
We have, although fortunately 264 will not be an issue since we have basically restructured that entire roadway. And again, 264 here is a prime example of the type of situation where we tried to continue to pave. That road didn't need paving, it needed a whole reconstruction. Now those monies are targeted for that. So.
Yeah, Layne says that there's a new law that passed this year that says the first 45% of the money that would normally be spent on new construction now goes to what's called state of good repair. And VDOT is now required to give a score and a grade to every road in the Commonwealth so localities can decide what are their top priorities. Now, that said, if you see a pothole, report it to VDOT, and Layne says they will respond. Stephanie Harris, 10 on your side. We should know by the end of the year whether Highway 460 will finally be extended. I got a chance to sit down with Transportation Secretary Aubrey Layne on Friday. The project is a public-private partnership and was intended to connect Suffolk with Petersburg, but they couldn't get permits because it cuts through wetlands. The new alternative goes only as far as Zunai.
Where we stand is we now know it can be permitted. We will go to get the actual permit. Take us about the next 8 or 9 months to do that. In addition to that, we'll work with our current contractor because, as you know, Stephanie, we have paid about $300 million, and we believe the state is due a lot of that back because it was given.
Layne said lawmakers this year reformed guidelines for public-private partnerships so that we will hopefully never be in this kind of a situation again.
And now a follow-up to problems at the port in Portsmouth. The state is also now involved in alleviating congestion there.
Following Andy Fox's report on urine and human waste found outside of Virginia International Gateway last week, the Secretary of Transportation tells 10 on your side he has personally spoken to truckers and the head of the port. He says Governor McAuliffe directed him to work with the port to do whatever the state can do to alleviate that situation.
But the real issue is we've got to reinvest in this port and infrastructure. And if you look over the last 5 or 6 years, because of all the issues that were going on, that one didn't happen, and we're paying for that.
Secretary Layne says trucks backed up for hours not only affects the drivers' livelihoods, but the economic vitality of the region. Port officials have already made some changes, including adding portable toilets. Check out all the changes now on WAVY.com.